Let's go back now to Yankee Stadium in New York. Baseball Hall of Famer Jim Palmer joining us. Jim, what stood out about Kevin Gausman's performance today most?
Well, you know, it's funny. They get him out of LSU in 2012. They give him, fourth pick in the first round. That means you're supposed to be really good, and today he was. You know, they give him $4.5 million with the expectations, not only for him and probably for himself, that, you know, there are going to be games where you need to really pitch up to your capabilities. You know, we can go on, at least we used to be able to go on ad nauseum. If you look at it, 9 strikeouts with all different kinds of pitches, and that's the difference today through a lot of first strike pitches that you talked about. But not only that, he mixed up his pitches, threw more breaking balls, threw more splitters. Fastball, when he needed it, you know, he was able to pitch up in the zone, even a couple down and away. And, you know, again, this is an Orioles staff that gave up 27 runs and 36 hits. And this doesn't look like the same Yankee team, even though it actually kind of was. Castro had a nice series. You know, again, you realize that's why he's hitting 260. If you make your pitches, and Kevin did, he's not the hitter he was in the first 2 games. Sanchez still got his hits because, you know, he's Roy Hobbs. He's the natural now up here in New York. But at the end of the day, you know, he did exactly what the Orioles needed. Number one, he pitched to his capabilities. I talked about in the pregame. All you can do is what you can do. They don't score a lot of runs for him, 2.6 on the road. He hadn't won in, since August of 2014. They played really well. You know, Pierce got some clutch hits. You know, Trumbo with his 40th home run, and Kevin gave the Orioles exactly what they needed. 7 shutout innings, and that's how you get back on the winning track.
Jimmy, you know, 3 years ago, this ball club picked up Steve Pierce. He was a bench player. All of a sudden, he played his way into the lineup and became, you know, one of the bigger players for the Orioles with the power coming off the bench like he did. He became a regular. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, we lose him, but he ends up getting back again. What do you think Steve Pierce really means to this ball club right now?
Well, you know, it's funny. You know, we're talking about it during the game. They get Tommy Hunter back. He pitches an inning and pitches well. Tommy had a good year last year. He was going to be a free agent. Orioles aren't going anywhere. They would end up 81-81 because I think they won the last 5 games. So, you know, they were under 500 most of the second half. So he's expendable, but he pitched well. And they get him back, and they get Steve Pierce. He can play second base. He can play first base. When Chris Davis hurt his shoulder probably, 3 years ago, you didn't realize how good a first baseman until Steve Pierce played first. So I'm not saying he's any better than Davis because, you know, Chris has played a Gold Glove first base, but he can play the outfield. You know, he's had a little bit of elbow problem or forearm problem. You know, he just shows up to play. I would imagine if you needed a catcher, you know, your favorite position, he would catch. He would put on the gear. He came onto the bus this morning, looked like we were going hunting. He had a hat on. He had the camouflage shirt on. And, you know, he had a terrific day for the Orioles. And, you know, again, part of pitching is you do your job, and then they have to get the runs. Runs were not a problem up here for the Orioles. Certainly weren't a run for the Yankees when they scored, 14 and 13. But the Orioles scored 4 and 5 runs. And, you know, when you're pitching well, you'd say, go, get me 4 or 5 runs and I have a chance to win. And that's exactly what they did for Kevin Gausman. And then you got to see Britton have an easy 9th inning. So everything kind of fell in place when you needed to win. And now all of a sudden you're going to have to figure out on the train ride home, how do we beat the Blue Jays?